Alrighty, so welcome back to the Luigi's Mansion tutorial. Beginner tutorial. We will get ourselves onto area 4. We're beyond the cutscene. Mash through all that, you just have to get yourself into the hidden mansion again. And as we did before Colossus, we're in sidestep, which is not relevant until the blackout, but you don't need to worry about being like this. You don't have to move around any special way, really. So it's not too much of a worry. You do need some fire, so keep the vacuum out here. This is the most optimal fire you can get, and get this one right here. Make sure you keep the vacuum out after being black, that we don't have to bring it back out again. And then you have flashlight skips for the entire rest of this part here, which helps you quite a bit, saves you a good second or so each time. Area 4 is a lot of walking, so you're going to see me do a lot of walking, or jogging. But just use like general logic, you know, cut the corners as much as you can. Flashlight into dark places. And you can turn if you want, but it doesn't matter. Basically go into where you were, just the door beyond it here. And it will initiate the blackout. Hey, you want to try to get a flashlight skip and point yourself this way because there are ghosts this way. If you don't, you get scared, it's okay, just point yourself, just make sure you're pointed this way afterwards and just go straight right. And this is why you have this, so that you don't have to worry about like doing any type of angles, it's easy. There is a ghost right in front of you here. So you want to go and then turn around to avoid being scared by him. Go through this door. Use the mirror warp in the safari room. And some ghosts will spawn, but it's just because you're spinning around, and they spawn because you're spinning around. And they're mine still. So you want to walk up and back up to Polymer. Go through the door. And kind of like move your C-stick a little bit to just stay in the middle of the room at all times so that you're not getting scared by anything. Don't be like me and miss it. And you can either switch to sidestep like during the door animation or during the suck up or during the key animation or whatever you want to do that doesn't lose time. But you're coming up on Grimly here. I'll open this door, switch to regular step, and then you just wait. This guy, Grimly, literally just does nothing and just shows his heart by scaring you whatever the heck he feels like it. Basically, it's all RNG. This is the one little all RNG part of the run. So you just wait, and then you just suck him in the vacuum. I would preference either top left or bottom left so that you can get to the chest here. Top left is probably better for Hundo. I'll probably do that when we do that part of the tutorial as well. But either side would work here, so whatever you feel. The only thing is if you're like over here, it'd be hard to get to the chest, you know, just use that type of thinking, and then you may warp yourself back down. If you did everything correctly, you shouldn't get scared at all from the blackout. Just make sure you point left here because there's a ghost right there, and then you'll be good to go. Go through this door and go down to the breaker room. And press A on this to get the breaker and the lights back up. And all you need in this room now is the key, so just get the key. And cellar. For beginner purposes, we will do singles. Very easy, all you have to do is activate this guy, and then stand in the corner, and then Don't do what I did. Not very easy for me, apparently. Anyway, point the vacuum down so that you don't get scared there. It helps you get in position. You just have to suck this guy up. Now when you're doing this, point it down right so that you get the actual dust off the ground while activating this guy, which is in here. So like get yourself like touching this area. You activate it and get the dust out. That way you can suck this guy down here so that you can stand right there, which is where the chest is. And you open that chest right there. So we'll do it one more time. Go in here. Point the vacuum down so that you don't get scared. Make sure you have the right angle when you do it. Because I made it. Dude. There you go. Right. And then you want to open the chest and react to the right. Because you have 3 spawns in the shelves, 1 spawn in the barrel for the boo, and then 3 spawns in this shelf, and then 1 spawn way over here as well for that barrel, which is worse RNG. So what you can do is you can go here and like activate these, and after you've done that, get the key if there's anything in there. There's nothing in there, which there won't be because we just saw the Earlium switch in the middle. You can activate to the middle or to the barrel. It'll take some feel to get used to this room. There's a lot of spawns and a lot of flashing going on there. And just make sure you get back to the door. Techs are also RNG in this game. From Astral Hole Boo and beyond, there'll be different links for the rest of the run, by the way. Nothing you can do, but just something to keep in mind. If you wonder where the heck did I lose time from, could be from that. As a beginner, it may be other things, but like, as you go along, there may be like things you may not be paying attention to that may lose time. That can be another thing. So again, we gotta do a lot of walking here. Some optimal around the circle walking right there, let me tell you. Oh, we use flashlight skip. Flashlight skip should just be second nature when you have vacuum, just do it. And it'll just be second nature after a while. There's a guy that may spawn here. He's RNG. So if you get spawned and scared by him, it's not a big deal. I honestly thought it was first frame, and I'm not sure. It's still not, but I'm pretty sure it's not first frame. Flashlight skip. But anyway, you don't need anything in this room. You can just walk through it. Then you've got toy soldiers. The toy soldiers just stand there and do nothing unless you activate the 3 clocks, which are here and right on this table, and then over on this table over here. So just from general state, just walk right to this one. And over to this one. And over to this one, and when that happens, just go straight into this guy. And get him to suck up. He's a pretty hard pull. These guys aren't much different than Bogmire, to be honest. So if you get a little struggle with them, it's okay, you'll get used to it. Just pay attention to where they're going at all times. It's the main thing. And if you're more comfortable in the corner, it makes it a lot easier for these guys to stay in the corner. Obviously, I'm sucking them out here because you can get closer to this, which is where I need to go next to. So that helps. If I just keep it singles for now. And doubles are hard and fast and takes some getting used to, don't worry about it for now. Alright, so we'll go right up. And the Shy Guys, which used to be somewhat hard, I guess, or not really hard anymore. You just go here and don't do what I do. Go into the middle here. And actually, typically what I would do is I would suck up the fire. And then you just want to burn left to right, and then back left, and then back to right, and then back left. Just pay attention to the fire spirit. And make sure it doesn't hit you, and just make sure you're straight down so that these two guys spawn, because you need the fire for these two guys. And you can walk these guys over here a little bit if you want, because you can save time by actually grabbing onto the ladder during the cutscene. You can also do what I did here, which is grab the fire and then extinguish it so that it's not an issue. It can be a little uncomfortable to get used to at first, because if you're not used to it, you can see I had to go grab the fire through a lot of lock-ons. It can be a little tough if you're not used to that. If you're not good at actually like getting it at the fire afterwards. Anyway, you would get back up here and open the chest and get the key. And vacuum cancel. Same method as before. You have to crawl up a ladder, but you don't have to go down it. So fall down it. You may get a stumble skip there, it depends. And we have to walk all the way, backtrack for a bit. A lot of walking in here for. A lot of walking. A lot of walking. Alright, armory room is a fun one. I'm trying to think of what can we do easily here? Well, what do we need to do? The typical strat here is to activate this guy. And burn him. Go down here. Activate him. And burn him. You wouldn't want to burn this guy, but let's say we didn't. And you want to suck this guy out. And you go to this side here. And you suck this guy out. And then you can go here. And typically we would just burn him. And burn him. And activate this guy and burn him. And you would get the triple afterwards. Dang, that's really creepy on emulator. It's beyond creepy. But anyway, let's see what we can do, because that can be like a transition thing that can be a little hard. So anyway, there's a grabber in here, there's a twirler in here, there's a puncher in here, there's a puncher up here. On the top left like before, and the orange goes from here, and the green guy comes out of there. Guess I really didn't have to leave. Ooh, nice. That's good. Make sure you do hit that from the side. So you don't get destroyed there. By the thing. So I'm so used to don't burn them there yet. Unless you're really feeling it. You can also like suck this guy up, I guess. Let me see if that's easier to do. That may be an easier idea. Another thing you can do, you see me using the Game War Horror. I haven't talked about this yet, I haven't really tried to use it in this tutorial, but if you use the Game War Horror and hold it out during a ghost spawn, it won't scare you. Unless you get a humping animation like I did, versus a tapping animation on something, then you won't get that situation. It's consistent on soldiers like that, but it's not for that. I mean, you can use these scare steps if you want. As you saw before, you don't have to do them if you're not comfortable with them. It's an extra input, so it may take a bit. Alright, maybe you just suck up this guy. And then maybe this will be, well, don't do that. You either do something like that, or you can just burn them both. Whatever's kind of comfortable for you. Just kind of progress your way down all the time. As long as you're doing that. Just the best thing is to air off on safety. Like if you're getting singles in here, it's not the worst thing in the world as long as you're getting something that you're not like blowing up everything. That's not a bad idea. Trust me. The reason why I'm showing this is because the grabber hitbox is weird, and when you add the grabber hitbox to that point of it, it could be a little tough. That triple could be a little tough for some people. But you know, if you can do this, just burn them all in transition. It's kind of like hidden room, you just have to get used to the rhythm. And then kind of get yourself back to the chest, basically. But yeah, just make sure you're always hitting these from the side. This one from the side, this one from the side. Don't ever hit that from the top. That thing will come for you. Don't ever do that. And then this one you can hit from wherever. But obviously this one you want from the side, you don't want to hit this one from here. And the boxes are pretty safe. One more example here. How did I even do that? So let me do that again. Pretty good. I like moved so fast before the thing there. Say, would it be easier? Let's say that's a transition thing too. Would it be easier to do like this? I guess I can show it. It helps you at all do it. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Rip that idea. Don't do that. But yeah, I would just break it down. The least transitions you can take right away. Just do lower and build up. What you can do if you have to suck them all up one by one, it's not the worst thing in the world. Alright, so pretty much done with that. This is one of the examples of where we save warp in this run as well. So you want to be by the key first, which is why I tried to get here. Because there are a lot of spawn points in the middle, but you can't save warp with the key, so you need to get the key first. And then you kind of just look, there's a lot of spawn points. You can be here, 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 here. You can be in this spot, which something's in that, and then this spot, and this spot. A lot of spots, options here. Also, this is your first 150 boo, which is where the boost strat comes into play. Very much, no mistakes are allowed. If you double cackles one too many, you may be able to lead them out, maybe. Most likely not. You may be able to do it from down at the bottom. Well, this would probably be a little bit better time to like explain like the boost strat a little bit more. You want to have spacing. And make sure that your vacuum is like pointed in the right spot. If it gets too high, you can use like what I did on the other one, where you saw me like point the C-stick upward, holds them down, and sometimes pushes them down. It at least hesitates his ability to go up. And when he goes too high, he double cackles, and that's bad. Like, we haven't even really shown an example of what happens when he leaves, but I can do that now. Like, let's say I accidentally missed something. He left. You want him to go back into this room, because obviously the other one's dark. If he goes into the telephone room, you want to lead him up to clockwork, because this is the one advantage of save warping. It used to be really bad with this boo. If you didn't get him in one cycle, you'd have to walk all the way back here. And also, I haven't really explained this, but you can see this boo always charges you if you're pointed in the opposite direction of him, which is quite important. That was probably one of the most epic one cycles ever. What you can do? I was like, this isn't gonna work, but we're gonna try it. Okay, so that's a good example of showing what else you can do. You can extend cackles by not actually pumping, because each time you pump the vacuum, a cackle happens. So if I lead him to a direction, I can like lead him to one side and take like 20 life off, even though I only used one cackle. And lead him to the other side there, even though he double cackled like 2 or 3 times there, I was still able to get it. That's pretty sketchy in that room. That was pretty fortunate. Yeah, this is one of those boos that can attack. Just make sure that as the boo kind of moves around a little bit, just make sure you keep yourself steady with wherever he's going. And don't kind of stay where you are. Like, let's say I stay where I am. See what happens, you have to pay attention and progressively go with it. If you're a little scared of like where, like depth perception, that's why I like to use side. Stay on the side of him so you can see where he is, that helps with it. Also keep in mind there's a little bit of a there's a shadow. There's a little bit of like a white circles on the bottom of where the boo is. That shows you where he is. You see the white circles on the bottom of him here. That's the type of way you can know where he is. You can see like where that space is from like different perspectives. Like if you're going up or down on a boo. Side to side, you don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, just make sure you're paying attention to that number, especially in this room, because it's very laggy typically. Not in this obviously, but when you're doing a speedrun it will be very laggy. Make sure you're paying attention to the number because it will inconsistently go down because of it. Dang, I don't know how this is working out, but it's working out pretty well. Weird one cycles I'm getting. But yeah, you don't want to pump too fast, or too fast can make them go higher. Quicker in some occasions. You can end up like screwed. Most rooms you can lead boos out at the end, if you know he's out of cackles, for 10 health. So like if for some reason he double cackled at the end, most rooms have enough room for this. In fact, I'm pretty sure every room has enough room for this. You can lead him out at the end. If you have that happen once, just don't pump again and try to do that, because then you'll just leave. Try to listen the best you can with that. But I mean, you obviously don't want to be too close to the boo because you don't want to bonk, but you also don't want to like... See how, because I'm so close to him, look where he goes. He didn't go too high, but you see him going higher. That's because I'm like getting in his space. I'm like getting in his way, don't get in his way. Make sure you have like a healthy pocket and you're keeping like in his way, or keeping a safe distance between you two. And you also don't want to get too far away, otherwise that happens. Obviously. It's like a happy middle. Yeah, just always keep it progressive with that. Best you can. It's just going to take time. I've done it for quite a long time, so I mean, we have the hang of it. It's going to take a while. Make sure you pay attention to the number. With these boos, pay attention to the number. Because we all assume a little bit too much on the boos that don't matter. Times that happens a lot. And a lot of people struggle with armory boo just because of how laggy it is, and they are used to the rhythm, and the rhythm is not the same. The rhythm varies depending on how much lag is happening in the room at the time. Pay attention to the number. Always get in the habit of paying attention to the number, and never get in the habit of rhythm. Anyway, you would save warp, and then you would either restart from the console or your soft reset, whatever works for you, and then go back to the beginning. I'm gonna go back down to celery again. Just get rid of these dust piles. Kind of want to like think, kind of just doing that, not really explaining it, but let's get the dust piles to go back. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but like, you know, when you see the dust pile small enough that you can walk by it, try to walk by it if you can. If you can, don't worry about it, just getting on when you can and move when you can. It's fine. Getting used to it takes time. Alright, so we have pipe room, where you don't actually have to clear out this room. You just get the ice, stand up and make sure you're pointed toward where the ghosts are, ice this, and then walk toward this. And if you're comfortable enough to throw a scare skip in there or something to try to get yourself there. Well, the most comfortable thing probably to do without that is probably something like the... Just do it, and there may be auto lock-ons because of these guys too. And the spirit may ice you occasionally too. But yeah, just try to get here as good as you can. You can time the skip or just get yourself there. It's nice to be grabbed by that guy because he is like a little bit more extended. So you can sometimes get around. Sometimes you get bottled down behind the other guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, kind of play around with it until you can get it what you want. There, that was pretty smooth there. Without the scare skip. If you're really not liking that, you can always like clear the room out. Basically. You can see me being bad, but you can ice this and the pool at the same time. If you do it really fast, it's not that much slower. I've just never done it before, so you can see how creepy I had it. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, if you're really not comfortable with it, you can just do that. Definitely not worth going for the triple on it anyway. I would probably, if you did that, get rid of the metal guy first. Actually, it's probably just easier just to walk right up there, really. I kind of did a combination of both there anyway. I would say just do it like normally. Just go up here, spawn them all, go in there. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. And then just walk toward the chest and do C circles. The entire time, LNR also works as well. Like shaking the guy off. Just do whatever you can to like ice them. And flash them out of the room. To get yourself into the next room. That's gonna be different every time, so that's kind of hard to explain, but you know, keep all the different tactics you have in mind or can do there. You see me ice that guy there to freeze him. That's a typical one because most of the time one of them is always spawned. You get this situation and somehow I didn't ice the other guy. You can always like flash the other guys away so that they're not in the way. If you're not icing them. Yeah, no, find a way to get out of there some type of way basically. Because you don't need anything but the key basically. And I did save that, but I want to make sure. Alright, so Weston. You want to get this fire and you want to light the 2 torches here. He will talk to you. He doesn't like to be melted because he's ice. You want to ice him. Or ice him, you want to fire him. And then you can suck him up. The strategies with this guy is kind of different. He's the easiest one to 2 cycle because of the ice everywhere. It's easy to lose control of him. It's really the same tactics, it's just we don't think about them enough sometimes. If he gets out of the hole anyway. I mean, you can see that he's not really that hard to pull, he's just slippy because of ice. You can do like a couple different manipulations of like keeping him in the hole. Also always aim the fire upwards on the top, it just spawns it faster. But if you're paying attention to where Weston is going, then he won't break off as fast. That's what happens to most. They don't do that. Because you can save most situations. Obviously, if you get one of those situations where you can manipulate him into the hole for most of his life, it makes it pretty easy. I'm kind of like pulling down left a little bit and he's going the opposite direction of where I'm pulling against. Try to get him there. See, that was bad, but like... Keep that idea. I used to do this thing with the short pumps in the beginning that sometimes works as well. Yeah, see how he stayed in there? Obviously that didn't help much that that was there. But you do want to be aware of where that is. Be aware of where those icicles are so you're not like standing under one during the cutscene either. Especially on English, it's bad, it hurts a lot. Yeah, see, like that wasn't very good, and it was, but because we kept angles, we still got it. We kept like direct angles, we didn't get too centered with the controller stick there. Yeah, just try to keep yourself out of neutral a little bit lesser. I mean, you would do it with every ghost, but just be aware of it here. Getting too much neutral going on can lose you sometimes. For sure. And if you ever end up under the icicle like me, just make sure you move a little bit to the left. Always make sure you're pushed in there and you're not like too much. Missing the ice, yeah. Or missing the fire on him, because you miss the fire on him, then he attacks you with his attack and it's bad. Yeah, just make sure you aim up. Up is a very good way to do this. Make sure you're always paying attention to where he's going. Always paying attention to that. Always pay attention to that. And clearing out the pearls is something that I would definitely suggest as a beginner for sure. Most of us do it anyway, but definitely do it because you have another 150 boo to deal with here, and auto lock-ons are very bad and cause double cackles, so because this is another place for a save warp, you need the key first. So you want to try to activate a boost spawn while getting the key. And by the way, it can be in this box, these two boxes up in that shelf, up in this shelf, or in these two barrels over here. Those are the few options. You see how he double cackled there? This would be a good example of leading him out at the end. Make sure you're aware of it and just do it. Because if I pump again, I would lose him. And boost spawn's always going to be this way, but we can do it because that's kind of what you want to do. You see my spacing is a little bit too big there, but you see what I'm kind of trying to do in the beginning, especially when he spawns high early. And obviously he double cackled too much. You can get him to go really low in the initial spawn a lot easier than you can during the suck up. And like push him down with the C stick like right in the middle of the right in the middle of the end of the cackle. End of the last 10 life. You can see it's possible to push him down from that. Give me the key. And what was that double cackling on there? That's interesting. Some pockets in there. I'm actually having more trouble with this guy than normal. Yeah, you want to kind of like get a rhythm of like a knot. Being able to use the C-stick here helps a lot. I like keeping them lower long enough for you to get them or push them down initially. And if you know he's not over there, you can just whistle this way right away. You know, just react to what you got. Obviously, don't always go up there. You know he's not up there. Ooh, he got me at the end there. It's a little bit off angle. But I mean, spacing is hard here. You want to keep that same spacing. But obviously, it's hard because you're moving constantly on this ice. But you can get yourself, like, steady yourself. And then it should be pretty much good for you. Dang. It's an evil one today. I'm gonna keep all those mines spacing. Yeah, like backing out a little bit helps with pushing him down there. Also, because obviously you're not in his way. Like if I get right under him, like I said before, and I get in his space, and I try to pull him down, he's not gonna go down because there's nowhere for him to go. You know, gotta get him somewhere to go. So once you do that initial, like, try to push him down, just make sure that you get yourself back in the space and don't stay too far away after that. It's a really interesting feeling that takes a while to figure out, but you'll figure it out. If he goes into pipe room, you can lead him, try to lead him back down to Weston. It's pretty bad, but you know, try to lead him back down to Weston. If he goes to breaker, just go to breaker, it's fine. If he goes to breaker, just don't save warp. Obviously. If it goes to the right, try to get him back into Weston or cellar. Actually, it doesn't matter probably. And then you could save warp from either one, it doesn't matter. Not even sure if it matters if you save warp from cellar, but probably doesn't matter. Okay, we'll save warp. And I think we'll stop there for this part and do the King Boo and Van Gore fight for the last part. So we will see you next time on the LM tutorial. Know it abounds. For the end of the run. See you next time.